In this video, we're going to explore lighting techniques for footwear, photography and video. I've got a selection of shoes here and I want to show you different techniques. We're going to look at lighting dark products as opposed to light products and what challenges could be faced there. I'm going to make sure that we set up a session for shooting this particular shoe. This is a black shoe and I really want to make sure I see the detail. Front light up. And for this one, I want to emphasize the heel of the shoe. I don't want to sort of flat light it in this case, so I'm just going to have my light source really coming from this side. And then I'm just going to light up my background. And what that's going to help me do is separate the shoe from the background itself. So I've got light coming across the shoe, and that's sort of adding a bit more texture. I'm going to make sure I'm a little bit brighter for this one, since it's such a dark shoe. I'm going to try the 3/4 angle now. Again, in this 3/4 position, because I've got the light coming from the left, it's really lighting up the side of the shoe that I want to emphasize. And I can really start to see the texture and the detail there now. Our next shot is a sort of reverse detail shot. It's looking quite nice already. I've got the heel detail showing up really nicely on this side. But let's just pop into our lighting again, and I'm just going to drag a tiny bit more light in from the right side just to add a bit more detail here. So as I've got the light coming from the left here, that's really emphasizing this area where the logo is. And I'm also going to focus on that. So I'm going to tap to focus and make sure that's all sharp. So I've done the lighting and all the shots for the stills. Now I'm going to go ahead and shoot the video. So one thing to watch out for with bigger products, I think we'll get away with this shoe, but if you shoot something taller, make sure that your light is not affected and you don't cast big shadows on the background due to the height of the product. So I think that light looks great now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just run a sequence. The sequence is actually going to go through and shoot all my video clips together and stitch them together, so I don't really have to go through one by one. So this is the resulting video. I'm very pleased with it. I don't think there's any unsightly shadows, anything that's disturbing me too much. The focus is really on the shoe and I can see all the texture and detail. So very happy with that. So I have a colorway of the sneaker now and it's a sort of lighter pink. So the only thing I'm going to really change here is just the amount of exposure. Plus I might want to just have it a tiny bit more balanced in terms of soft light on the right and the left. And that's really purely down to the fact that this one isn't shiny, so I don't want to emphasize so much the shininess anymore, as it's got a different texture to it. So I'm going to pop again into my light settings. So I've got my light balanced from both sides. I'm just going to reduce the front light a touch and slide down my exposure. My exposure is about 2/3 of a stop darker than it was now, and that's due really to the tone of the shoe. I'm just going to pop it into sequence mode and it will go ahead and shoot all my shots. So if you have something quite contrasty like this lit from one side, you may want to watch out what's happening on the second shoe just to make sure that you're not casting any unwanted shadow onto the shoe. So once you've positioned your lights and you've got the exposures and everything that you need, make a note of those settings and mark your tripods where your lights have been standing, just so you're able to repeat your results over and over again. In StyleShoots Eclipse, we've got lighting presets that we can lock down. Let's say I've been playing with the lighting and I've gone for a different look here. I can immediately just pop back to the light settings that I had before, and it remembers all the positions and the intensities of the light, so I can repeat over and over again what I've had before. To sum up, use lighting direction to emphasize details on your shoes. When you're shooting videos and stills, make sure the lighting is suitable for both. When shooting a pair of shoes, make sure that your shadow doesn't spill onto the other shoe. You can either separate the shoes a little bit or change the lighting to compensate. When shooting light product and dark products, make sure that you change your exposure accordingly. And last but not least, make sure that you mark down all of your settings and all of your lighting positions so that you're able to repeat for better consistency.